Y'all, something's going down in DC. Something is genuinely happening behind the scenes. And even MSNOW, as in used to be MSDNC, just called Chuck Schumer out to his face about requiring voter ID. You are talking about the mainstream media seeing the problem, the Republicans seeing the problem, the standing filibuster kind of situation brewing, and the media and the left is screaming the alarm because Chuck Schumer still doesn't seem to get it. This is going to be an episode you're going to need to see. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Let's dive right in. We have got to talk about this one, guys. Now, this is what's going on around the SAVE Act. This is around voting. This is around showing an ID to prove who you are when you vote for the direction of our nation. It's tremendously popular. However, I'm about to show you a few clips where even the mainstream leftist media is going, hey, Democrats, could you not screw this up? Because you kind of are. Watch this. First one we're going to go is Ted Cruz. Right out the gate, he is talking about what's going on in the halls of the Senate. They're doing their little game, this little dance. Watch this.
Senator Cruz, how confident are you that we can get the SAVE Act to the floor for a vote? Do you think it's actually going to happen, or is this an empty promise?
Look, I very much hope so. I can tell you I am urging my colleagues to end the zombie filibuster and to force the Democrats to do an old-fashioned talking filibuster. And we have procedural tools that can make it far more painful for the Democrats to continue defending and facilitating voter fraud. And that's the case I'm trying to make to my colleagues.
Well, we appreciate that. Why do you think it's so hard to end this zombie filibuster? And it seems like Thune isn't really in favor of it from what he said yesterday.
Look, I will say that the conference is discussing it actively. And look, I hope we come to agreement. We need to get 51 Republicans to stand together. The only way to force the Democrats to do the talking filibuster is stand united.
All right. This is the really important thing that he just said. The conference is having active conversations about it. Now, again, the SAVE Act is a voting act. It requires ID. Now, the left is immediately running out and going, oh, it's racist. Obviously, it's racist. It's horrible. It's bad. I was a little behind the scenes. I was doing pre-show prep for this, and my wife was in the room. She started laughing when she heard the clip that I'm about to play for you of Chuck Schumer. Because even the media is going, like 95% of Republicans want this and like 78% of Democrats want this. Is it really wise to stand against this just because you want to? Yeah, watch the clip. I'm not making this up. Watch this. Chuck Schumer, it's amazing.
There's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0, and I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting. For instance, if you...
We're trying to start our own KKK, which was run by the Democrat Party to prevent people from voting? We're doing that? No, that's not what we're doing. That's something else? Okay, sorry. Just asking for clarification.
If you change, you're a woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against. If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said to our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in the Senate. We're not reviving Jim Crow all over the country. And when the American people hear what exactly it is doing and what its intent is doing, they're going to be against it as well.
Jim Crow 2.0. Does that sound oddly and vaguely familiar? It should. It's what Joe Biden called it. It's what Chuck Schumer called it in the Joe Biden era. At the same time, they were calling it Jim Eagle. Get it? Because Jim Crow and Jim Eagle and Eagle's bigger. The whole point here is even the mainstream leftist media is going, this might not be a good idea to be the guy on the other end of the stick of this one. And the big argument here, the big crown jewel of logic brought forward is, well, yeah, but when women get married, they won't be able to change their IDs, and therefore they're going to be discriminated against in a vicious manner, and they won't be able to vote because they got married. Okay, as someone who's been married, that's a little stupid. Just saying. All right, let's keep on going. I got even more for you guys. It does not stop because this is what's happening in the mildly connected to reality left. This is a conversation between Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher blasting this from orbit. You have to understand what they're doing is they're tying themselves to the Biden administration talking points and the Biden administration really propaganda, really. Listen to this. Rhetoric is the word I was trying to use. Watch this.
Don't engage in that kind of hyperbole because we're living in the year 2026, and when you start bringing up Jim Crow 2.0, you're trying to harken back to a time that most people recognize. No, we're not living in those times right now. Of course, we've got our troubles, but we're not doing. Don't do that because that's playing right into Trump's hands. Was I right in saying that?
And yes, and you're factually right. It's this thing that he's trying to do with not conceding elections. That it's not primarily a racial issue. Not everything is primarily a racial issue. It has racial overtones, as does everything in this country. But yes, you're right. It's foolish to make it about that. And it's also foolish because Biden used that exact phrase about voting in Georgia. And then they did polling after that next election came up. And even the black folks said, we had no problem voting. So, you know, like you say, don't engage in the kind of hyperbole that's just going to bite you in the ass.
Don't engage in that.
Don't engage in that kind of hyperbole that's going to bite you in the ass because every single person realizes that is the easiest thing in the world to get an ID. Even minorities, even African Americans, Hispanic, women who get married. It's not hard to get an ID. It's not hard to vote with an ID. You have no trouble voting with your ID. It's idiotic. It's not Jim Crow 2.0. That is just an emotional racial bait to make sure that everyone stands against it. While the population at 95% for Republicans and 71% for Democrats say, you know what, it might be a good idea for IDs for vote. I don't know. But this is the whole point. This is the rational side of the left. And I've shown you the media going, you might not want to do this. Now we're going to show you the irrational side of the left. Here's the progressives. Except you say? Yeah, talking about ICE having masks. It's all an emotional response. Watch this. Same stuff, same different day. Watch.
Maybe most important, no secret police. These people go around with masks. It makes them more brutal. They're never accountable. No one even knows who they are. There should be no masks except in the most of unusual circumstances. You know, some guy's picture was put up by a terrorist group or something. But there should be no masks. There should be there should be cameras. Everyone should have cameras, and there should be rules on how they use them. And they have to have regular uniforms, not all the stuff they're wearing. But we cannot have secret police. And we cannot, Johnson, the speaker, has said he wants to keep the masks. Well, I guarantee you, when you go down to his district in Louisiana, the sheriffs and police are fully identified with their name and their number. Right. That has to happen across America to prevent these rogue forces from terrorizing cities.
You see how this game plays? See how this is? I'm going to amp up the emotional rhetoric. I'm going to try to appeal to my progressive left base, which is what Emma Vigeland is. That's why I played this clip. Because the left is the rational Democrats are going, guys, it's just voter ID. It doesn't matter. It's not Jim Crow 2.0. Don't do this. This is stupid. You're tying yourself to Biden. Yeah. The far left is getting pissed because Chuck Schumer said you can wear masks in the most extreme circumstances, which is still a stupid premise. But the left, who he's trying to cater to, who has taken a large share of the population of the Democrat perspective, that's the problem. And here's another one. Mehdi Hassan, this guy is, he's asinine. I've said it before and I will say it again. Schumer and Jeffries are not fit for purpose and should be run out of office by their own members. Why? Because Democrats seem to have softened their demand that federal immigration officers be banned from wearing masks when making deportation arrests. The House Minority Leader, Representative Hakeem Jeffries, said that the party's position was that no mask should be deployed in an arbitrary or capricious fashion. Senator Chuck Schumer, the Minority Leader, said that masks should only be used in extraordinary circumstances. You see how this is the game? You've got the progressives and you got the Democrats. right? The progressives are the far lefties, like these two. The Democrats are going, hey, could you not say Jim Crow 2.0 because that's really, really dumb and everyone can vote and there's no issue voting and there's no issue with IDs. So they're caught between this guy's caught between these guys and these guys. These guys are pushing him far to the left. This guy's saying you're all stupid because you're going to the left, and this guy's just sitting there going, I'm just old and grilled hamburgers with cheese with plastic on them. Man, it's one hell of a day to be alive, isn't it? Listen, that's what I've got for you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.